Hello, it's Davy Mooney, coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records artist. Got my Sunnyside collection up here. The Word and Way Back are the most recent, but I've got, my goodness, what do I have here? I have six records on Sunnyside. I've got a few Mel Bay books, Personalizing Jazz Vocabulary, Into the Labyrinth, and the newest one is How to Achieve Great Jazz Phrasing, Practical Method. And I'm here back from vacation, getting ready to start the spring 2026 semester. My goodness, y'all, time is slipping, as they say. And yeah, we got auditions coming up. The whole thing's going to start again, as it does. And yeah, we're going to do what needs to be done. But that's not what I want to talk to y'all about today. I want to talk about the Tom Jobim song How Insensitive, aka Insensitive. And it's a real, for me, like associated with guitar players and modern jazz guitar players, Wes Montomery and Pat Martino and Emily Remler. And I grew up playing this song in New Orleans with Hank Mackey and Steve Mazikowski and all our crew, Teddy Ludwig, Matt Johnson, Todd Duke. We all knew this tune. And yeah, it's a really cool song. It has a lot in common with Frédéric Chopin, and particularly the prelude in E minor. I heard somebody playing this on a piano at the airport in Italy. I was on vacation in Italy over the break, and somebody was playing the Chopin. I was like, oh, it's How Insensitive. At least the first couple chords, and then it kind of diverges. But so do the various versions of this tune. So I was trying to go through, and it's been recorded by a million people, so I didn't do every version, but I listened to Joao and Gilberto, the Tom Jobim version from the composer, I believe it's called The Composer of Desafinado Plays, Astrud Gilberto version. Those three versions are actually very similar. I think kind of the same arrangement, though Tom Jobim and Joao Gilberto are in B minor, and Astrud is in A minor. And then the guitar versions, you have Wes Montomery in D minor, Pat Martino in D minor. I can't remember. I believe Emily Remler did it on the duo record with Larry Coryell. Is that right? That's D minor, I think. And I always played it in D minor. In New Orleans, it's in D minor in the app on the phone. I should pull that up and just look. Those are the chords I played along with. And it's funny, those of you who have seen these videos before know that this is a recurring theme. There are the changes that we all sort of play, and for me, I think this one, I believe it's in the original real book, and that's probably where I got the chords from. And then I remember with Hank, I can't remember if he changed some things from the real book. The chords that are in the app, I just, when I play on the song later in the iReal app, I just push play. I didn't have to really change anything. But the chords that are actually on these versions are not those chords. So I don't know, where does that leave us? Who's right, who's wrong, as Bret Michaels would say. I'm going to see if y'all can know that reference from Unskinny Bob. Anyway, but I'll go through, let's talk about the Tom Jobim version and the Joao Gilberto version. I believe the Joao version is 1961. I couldn't find, on the internet, I've been searching. It's been getting harder and harder to find album and discographical information on there since definitely I use Apple Music. I assume Spotify's the same way. It's not really album based. It's more about just the individual tracks, so you have to really dig to find what. But I believe there's a 1961 album called Joao Gilberto, and the Tom Jobim one, you have this intro where you have a D7, a C sharp 7, then a G major 7, and then it goes right to B minor. There's no 5-1, and then you have the melody and the chords. And what's interesting about the Joao Gilberto version in terms of the bossa nova rhythm that I'm always trying to learn and teach my students, he consistently, for the whole song, he goes. There's no anticipation, and it's just that one bar rhythm, so it's not exactly the partito alto, it's not the 2-bar thing where you would go. that. It's just... So, I don't know where that leaves us in terms of us trying to figure out how to do the bossa nova rhythm, but that's what he plays. So quarterly you have, when the melody starts, you have E minor for 2 bars, insensitive. Kind of A sharp diminished, but also in some ways it's like a, F sharp over A sharp kind of chord. Although I kind of want to say the chords, well, I'll get to D minor. I'm always like torn between what key I should say the song's in. Maybe I'll do it in D minor, since that's what everybody plays it in. So it would be like D minor, then sort of a C sharp, it could be C sharp diminished. Although I think it definitely, if it has a note in it, it has a B flat, if it has any kind of B in it, but a lot of the versions it's just like an A major chord over C sharp or A dominant over C sharp, first inversion, then C minor, or maybe more C minor 6, and then B minor 7, flat 5. So these are the Tom Jobim, Astrud Gilberto, Joao Gilberto chords. Then you have the B flat major 7, E flat major 7, then the 2-5, more or less. Sometimes it's not always so literally a 2-5, but it gets you back to the 1 chord, to D minor. In their case, it's B minor, but I'm telling you the chord's in D minor. And then one thing that's interesting, most versions that we do these days, and guitar players, they'll play a little 5 of C minor here because the next 8 bars starts on the C minor chord. But the Joao Gilberto song versions, and those earlier versions went to like an F7 before the C minor, which is kind of interesting. So you had like, let's see. So, I don't know. Nobody plays that though, so feel free to go. Well, nobody except for the original recordings of the song. Then the second part of the song. Let me see. I should do the bars before I believe that's the first 8 bars of the song, right? 2 bars of this. That's 4. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's the first 16 bars. So then the second half of the song starts on C minor. Kind of the same progression, just down a whole step to B diminished, or you could think of like a G7 over B. But it's definitely got like, I think, well, definitely. I don't know if you had to choose what kind of A that it's got in, I think it would be an A flat, at least on these earlier versions. Then B flat major 7, 2-5 back to D minor, and then again most people would put in like a D flat 7 or a G7, and then the last bit you have C minor F7, B minor, kind of B minor 11, E7, B flat major 7, then a 2-5 to D minor. And now it's the whole song. So I believe it's 32 bars, right? Let's go through it again. So you have 2 bars of D minor, C sharp diminished, or A7 over C sharp, C minor 6, B minor 7 flat 5, G7 over B. So that's the first 8 bars. Second 8 bars, B flat major 7, E flat major 7, E minor 7 flat 5, A7, back to D minor. Maybe sneak in a little D flat 7, so then the second half of the song, C minor, B diminished, G7 flat 9 over B, B flat major 7, 2-5, back to D minor. Sneak in that D flat 7 again, C minor, F7, B minor, E7, B flat major 7, 2-5, D minor. And that's basically the song. And those are the chords I believe that were in the original real book, the chords that are in the app, and the chords that Tom Jobim, Joao Gilberto, and I believe Astrud do. Now, Wes Montgomery recorded the tune, so where it kind of comes into the guitar lexicon, Wes Montgomery does it on the album Tequila from like '66, I believe. And he's got some different ideas. Like it starts the same. He's got the D minor, A7 over C sharp, C minor, then G7. So instead of B minor 7 flat 5, he goes right to a G7. So that's kind of like the same chord, just a different inversion, right? If you think that G7 from the third is B minor 7 flat 5. And we'll talk about how, diminished versus half diminished, or minor 7 flat 5. I'll talk about that in a second. Then B flat major 7, E flat major 7, 2 5 to D minor. Then he goes, the second half, he does it a little differently. He goes F7 to B minor 7 flat 5 to B flat major 7, 2 5 to D minor. And then he goes C minor, F7, B minor, E7. Then the rest is the same, although on the last bit, instead of going sort of B flat major 7 and then a 2 5 to D minor, he goes right to like a B flat diminished. He kind of makes that whole last bit, I believe the last 4 bars, kind of a 5-1 rather than a 2-5. With his, the diminished chords he likes to move around in a kind of block chord thing. Now, Pat Martino, there's an album called Footprints, and I believe that, gosh, I'm going to get the year wrong. I want to say like 72, 73, somewhere in there, early, mid-70s, with Richard Davis, and there's what's the guy's name? I want to say Billy Rose as the other guitar player. There's 2 guitar players, and I can't remember. Is it Billy Hart on drums? I might be off on that, but it's definitely Richard Davis on bass, because who could forget Richard Davis's performance on that Pat Martino album? But anyway, Martino, he doesn't want anything to do with those diminished chords. It's funny. So the guitar, the rhythm guitar is playing Insensitive. He definitely plays for that second chord like a C sharp minor 7. C minor, and then I guess it's B minor 7 flat 5. I think he's just playing these kind of chords. And then the rest of it, he basically he doesn't want anything to do with this diminished business. So like this second half. Second half of the song, he's going C minor, F7, B minor, E7 both times. 2 5 1, C minor, F7, B minor, E7, B flat major 7. The Martino solo on that is to me, so iconic, and it's on YouTube. Someone transcribed the whole thing. It's just like so many of the little like licks and melodies that I play when I'm soloing, I realize come from that solo, because I used to listen to that. I had a tape of that Footprints album that Hank Mackey dubbed for me, and that was one of the the cassettes that was on rotation in my car when I was in high school, and I would be driving back and forth from Ben Franklin High School to Noka, from Uptown to Lakefront a couple times a day, and all over the place, and gigs. This was the 90s, y'all, so I didn't have a CD player in my car. And so I just internalized that performance. But yeah, he's not real big on the diminished. And this is one, this progression is in so many Tom Jobim tunes. This idea of like a sort of, we're in the key of D minor, and the second chord, you go down a half step and play a diminished chord. And when I'm playing on that, I just think about it as, this is something that Hank told me all those years ago, that second chord is 5 of the chord that came before it. So it's almost like a backwards chord progression. So it's like D minor, and I can make it any kind of D minor, really. I could make it D Dorian. Then that C sharp diminished, I'm really thinking like D harmonic minor. Which then I just make go to C minor. It doesn't really go to C minor, but maybe just in terms of voice leading, you can kind of see how you just make it go there by, I don't know, gravity maybe. And then the interesting thing is, on the first 8 bars, that fourth chord is not fully diminished. It's like a half diminished. So it's kind of D minor again. If you think of B minor 7 flat 5 as being, B Locrian, which is D Dorian, it's sort of C major key area. So you kind of have D minor, 5 of D minor, C minor, D minor, in a certain sense. Because Wes plays a G7 there, and And so again, that's G Mixolydian, B Locrian, D Dorian. It's all D minor, C major, key center, key area. I won't say key center, but key area. Then the second bit, you got B flat major 7 to E flat major 7. Sometimes I'll make the B flat B Lydian as well. Although, as I've said before, B flat major 7 from the third is D minor, so a lot of the time I'm playing D minor pentatonic, and I might add in a note. I might add in a B flat, I might add in an E. I might add in some chromaticism, but a lot of the time I'm thinking about the pentatonic off the third. E flat major 7 is definitely like a Lydian, like I wouldn't play an A flat there, like that would sound. If I'm going to play an A of any kind, it's going to be an A natural. Then a 2-5 to D minor, all your minor 2-5. A good way to play a minor 2-5 as well is on the E minor 7 flat 5. Think about that as B flat major 7, sharp 11, with the sharp 11 in the bass. So you're kind of going back to that B flat major 7 anyway. And like I said, most people will sneak in a little 5 of the C minor to go to the second half. So one of the things that can be confusing about this song is the second half, it's kind of a transposition of the first few bars into the key of C minor. So in this case, the second chord kind of is a B diminished, fully diminished. We're here on the first A, or the first 8 bars, it's a minor 7 flat 5. So that's like, and like I said, Pat Martino wants nothing to do with that. Neither does Wes, really. Wes, they're not really distinguishing in the way that I think that the Tom Jobim, those early versions are. But then those early versions don't have shredding guitar solos on them. So when I try to play on it, I try to observe the harmonic intricacies and subtleties of the Tom Jobim versions, but with the shreddiness of Pat Martino. So I'm thinking like C minor. And then you don't really have to, there's no, the melody's a little different, right? So the melody's on the 11th. But yeah, it's definitely like, I'm thinking C minor. And then that second chord is like G7 flat 9 over B, so it's 5 of C minor. So I'm going to play probably some kind of C harmonic minor-esque thing or something. That's at least how I'm analyzing it harmonically. I can't, I don't remember what I just played when I soloed over it, but probably something close to that. And then after that, it's a little different. So you have 2 bars of C minor, right? Then it goes right to B flat major 7 and goes back to D minor, 2-5 to D minor. Then you have that for the last 8 bars. You can sneak in that 5 of C minor, and then the last 8 bars is more sort of just kind of 2-5 without having to worry about diminished chords, because you have the melody C minor F7, B minor E7, B flat major 7, 2-5. Back to D minor. So there you can kind of be like, you could make that B minor finally be like a B minor 2 chord sort of Dorian sound. So the sneaky part of the song is really like the way the B's, like, because you have B minor 7 flat 5, B fully diminished, and also B minor 7 kind of ish. Although I guess you could argue that the last B minor is also, since it has an F natural in the melody. But I think for soloing purposes, I'd sort of distinguish between, one of the traps is of improvisation in general is, and I've talked about this in all my books, is, okay, I've got these 3 Bs that are slightly different, so I have to, when I solo, show the world that I know about that and make it obvious every time. That can be kind of corny. As well, so I have to fight. It's a fight in a couple ways. One, to kind of like maybe observe the original harmony. I mean, I don't know. Pat Martino and Wes didn't feel like they needed to do that, but I sort of feel like I need to do that. But then also not overdo it and like, look at me, I can play all these chords. So hopefully I didn't do that on these choruses. I'm going to play a couple choruses on it for you. But yeah, it's a beautiful tune, y'all. How Insensitive. I'd also suggest, if you've never heard it, check out William Shatner's version on The Transformed Man. That's a trip. And then you also got Sinatra. You got all the cats did this tune. I think Sinatra on the record with Jobim. Although I think the first time I heard the English lyrics, I wasn't alive, but that I encountered the English lyrics, actually Astrud Gilberto sings it in English. So anyway, here you go. Hope that was helpful to you. And here is How Insensitive.